Imagine having absolute power, every command obeyed, every desire within reach, an entire empire at your feet. Now imagine that same man, alone at night in a war tent, writing a secret note to himself, begging himself to stay humble, to stay good, to not be corrupted by the very power everyone else was killing to get. He never meant for anyone to read it. 1800 years later, it became one of the most important books ever written. And what it reveals about success, money, and the human mind might change how you live the rest of your life. His name was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome at the height of its power. But this isn't a history lesson, because the man who had everything spent his life fighting the exact same battle you fight every single day. The battle to control the one thing that actually matters. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll understand why the most powerful man in the world considered himself a servant, and why that mindset is the real secret to a life that feels rich. Marcus never wanted to be emperor. He was a quiet boy who fell in love with philosophy, with the Stoics, who taught that a good life comes from character, not comfort. But duty called, and he was handed the most powerful position on earth. And almost immediately, the world tried to break him. A plague swept through the empire and killed millions. Wars raged on the frontier for most of his reign. A trusted general betrayed him. He buried several of his own children. Any one of these could destroy an ordinary person. He faced them all for years while ruling an empire. And through all of it, by candlelight in war camps, he wrote. Not speeches, not laws, private notes to himself, reminders on how to stay sane, humble, and good. He had every excuse to become a tyrant, every reason to despair. He became neither. The question is how, and what it has to do with you, who will never rule an empire, but who fights every day to rule yourself. The first lesson is about control. Even the emperor of the entire world realized that almost nothing was actually in his control. Not the plague, not the wars, not what other people did, not even how long he would live. The only thing he truly controlled was his own judgment and his own response. So he stopped wasting his energy on everything he couldn't change and poured it entirely into the one place where he had power, himself. Think about your own life. You don't control the market. You don't control your boss, the algorithm, or what other people think of you. But you control your effort, your reaction, and your standards. The moment you stop trying to control the world and start mastering your response to it, you gain the only real power there is. But control alone wasn't what kept him good. There was something darker he had to fight, the same thing that destroys most successful people. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The thing that destroys most people isn't failure. It's success. And the more power Marcus gained, the harder he had to fight the one enemy that had corrupted every emperor before him. His own ego. Marcus understood something most people learn too late. Power and money don't fix you. They amplify you. They don't change who you are, they reveal it. He had watched absolute power turn good men into monsters. So every single morning, he reminded himself that he would meet arrogant, ungrateful, selfish people that day, and that his job was to not become one of them. He pictured his own death daily, not to be morbid, but to stay humble and to remember what actually mattered before his time ran out. Now apply that to your life. The real danger was never being poor. It's that getting everything you want can quietly turn you into someone you don't respect. The antidote is simple and ancient. Remember that you are small. Remember that you are temporary. And remember that your character is the only thing you actually get to keep. Define success not as what you accumulate, but as who you become while accumulating it. But there's one final idea, the one he returned to again and again, the reason he could hold absolute power and still die a good man. And it's the one most of us never learn until it's too late. Marcus controlled his response. He guarded against his ego. He lived with death in view. And what tied all of it together was a single quiet reframe. He never saw himself as the owner of the empire. He saw himself as its servant, on loan, for a short time. He didn't possess his power, his wealth, or even his life. He was borrowing them, briefly, with a duty to use them well. And that reframe is freedom. Because when you stop clinging to what you have and start asking how well you can use it for the short time it's yours, the endless anxiety of more simply dissolves. The richest life was never the one with the most. It's the one lived with the clearest mind and the steadiest character. Exactly what a slave philosopher once taught and an emperor proved. Marcus Aurelius had everything the world tells you to chase. And he spent his life learning that the only empire worth ruling is the one inside your own head. Master that, and you are wealthier than any emperor who ever lived. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe. This is what we do here every week. I'll see you in the next one.